everybody. Welcome to Largo's Lair. I'm Largo, this is the Lair, and these are some Gargoyles figures from NECA by way of Helidope Toys. So I bought Bronx and Goliath because they kind of go together. You've got your gargoyle and his dog, who's not a dog, but they were kind of meant to go together because if you buy Goliath, you get his big folded out wings, and if you buy Bronx, you get the bonus of the folded wings that are more like a cloak for Goliath. So kind of a cool package deal there. So you got to kind of get both. So good marketing strategy, NECA. I love the packaging. They're very vibrant. They've got some great graphics and write-ups for who these guys are as far as their lore. You know, frozen in stone by day, flesh and blood winged warriors by night. Awakening after 1,000 years, a band of powerful gargoyles find themselves transported to a time and place not their own, New York City. A lot of people probably think New York City is a time and place not their own, but that's another story. Anyway, I did not get into this when I was a kid because, well, I was a little too old for the cartoon. But as an adult, I kind of went back and looked at it and realized it was really written very well. And the characters have some depth to them. Their stories are very interesting. So I'm a fan. So I like these peekaboo boxes that they do. This is a NECA thing. You get a little graphic of the character, in this case Bronx, and then you can take a look at him in the package, which is really nice. So, you know, for those of us who are not in-box collectors, it's not a huge deal. But if you are an in-box collector, this is a great box to collect because you can look at the figure, you can check it out, and then you can protect it and keep it on the shelf like a certain Black Knight we know who kind of likes to keep his stuff in boxes. You know, if that's your thing, man. Goliath, same thing. Great artwork on the front, and then pictures of the actual figure around. And, you know, same write-up. You know, just the basic idea of what the Gargoyles storyline is all about. And heavy Velcro. Another peekaboo. Another great graphic of Goliath inside. And then the figure itself, which is just awesome. I can try to get some glare off of that from the camera. But, you know, I have been leery of NECA because in the past, when I bought some of their aliens and their predators, they were very brittle. The plastic they were using was prone to breakage. So I kind of swore off NECA for many years. Then they did the Flash Gordon, Phantom, and Ming, and I gave those a shot because I'm a big sucker for sci-fi stuff, and they were good. The plastic has improved. The joints are good. I've had no breakages with current NECA, so I decided to give these guys a try. So let's get them out of the box, and let's see what they look like when they're being played with. So now we're out of the box and we are looking at Bronx first. I went ahead and put the cloak on for Goliath just so you can see how he looks. Obviously this cloak, his wings as a cloak, were featured heavily in the cartoon, and it's a really nice value add that they gave with Bronx because he's kind of light on accessories. He's basically a dog. He doesn't need a lot of accessories. So it works. It makes sense. So we'll get back to that when we start going over Goliath. But let's talk about this boy. If you're a fan of larger breed dogs, and I am, that's definitely what he's modeled after. He is a big, muscly, beefy boy. And I gotta say, they did a great job on this sculpt. So before we start tinkering with articulation, I will put in my shameless plug for the unofficial commemorative laser pants heat gun. Get one. They're worth it. You can get them for about 10, 15 bucks on Amazon. It's cheaper than buying a hairdryer. It does the same thing. Heat up those joints on all your new toys just in case. it's worth it. So, that out of the way, I already did that. I've already heated this guy up, and he is super articulated. He has amazing articulation, and it's very, what's the word? Ingenious, because he's not a human character. So they've really looked at the anatomy of a big breed dog and said, how would this thing move? And they have figured out the articulation to go with that. It's really well done. He even comes with a big chunk of meat, which he's fond of, and an articulated jaw to chomp on it, which I really like. That's a very cool feature. So not only does he have the movement you would expect in the head, but they've put in this ingenious piece right behind the head, so you can actually move part of his torso here, his neck section, and so you can make him very expressive. You can get some really cool movement for toy photography, and of course, you know, all of his joints have bends where they need for his paws. They've even put places here for pegs for figure stands, which is unusual because they don't come with figure stands, and I don't think NECA makes one yet. Maybe they're coming out with something, but I haven't seen one that would work with this. But he doesn't really need a stand. He's four-legged. He's very stable. And again, the plastic is vastly improved over previous NECA products. It's a softer plastic, but it works. It's you know, no paint rub issues that I can tell. All of the joints and flexors work the way they should. Once they're heated, everything moves like butter. It's good. I'm loving this. I'm a big dog fan. I'm a big fan of big dogs. So, you know, he definitely fits the bill. Even if you're not a fan of the Gargoyles cartoon, he's just a nice critter to add to your collection. He will work with Mythic Legions. He'll work with any kind of fantasy stuff, Motu. I will have definitely a lot of places where he'll show up even if Goliath doesn't. But they do go well together. The only accessories that he really comes with is a head that is not articulated. There's no articulation to this jaw, but that's his I'm angry and you've just brought down the wrath kind of head, which is very cool. Again, great paint apps, good sculpt, very expressive. I like it. And the chunk of meat, which we talked about earlier. That's it. But again, that's all you really need, and that makes sense why they threw in this piece for Goliath. So that's Bronx. I'll do some toy photography with him, and we'll look at some pictures with him and Goliath together. So, before we start talking about Goliath, let's talk about one other thing with the box. You know, there's something NECA does that I don't see a lot of other toy makers do. On the very bottom of the box, they actually give credit to the production team, the sculptor, the guy who put the box together, the art design. And I think that's a really nice touch. So direction and development, sculpting, fabrication, paint, prototypes, photography, and packaging. All the people who were involved are credited on the box. That's something I like to see other toy brands do. Give some guys pride in their work because they put a lot of work into these things. It is not easy to come up with a box design, let alone the sculpt of the character. So kudos to NECA for that. I think that's a step in the right direction. And that's something I like I said, I'd like to see other toy manufacturers do that. So, this guy's a showpiece. Beautiful sculpt. I have him on a stand because he is a little persnickety just because of the size of the wings and the fact that he has non-human legs. But we'll talk about that in a minute. These stands are made by Storm Collectibles, and they are awesome for larger figures. I got this one from Big Bad Toy Store, and I will put a link in the description. So they're inexpensive. Well, they're inexpensive for high quality stand, but they really work for these large characters that are kind of unwieldy, and this guy fits in that category. One QC issue, I wanted to love you, NECA. No, I'm kidding. It's a minor thing. I have some paint rub on the very top of his head, and it looks like that came from when it was getting put in the package. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera, but it's very noticeable in person. So he's got some rub. I'm going to have to do some touch-up. It happens. Other than that, I have no QC issues with this guy. Joints are great. Putting through the heat gun, and he came out like a champ. So I'm going to get him off of this stand, which is kind of unwieldy because of his shape. And then we will take a look at what this guy can do. And there it is. Yeah, these stands are great for getting a guy to hold up on the shelf, but they hold a little too well because they're actually spring-loaded, and they don't want to let go. There we are. So, Storm Collectibles, stands, check them out. Goliath, let's check him out. Beautiful wings. These are the ones that come with Bronx, and the way they're folded, it's very regal, very nice, and really adds to the character. Plus, there's sometimes when having the giant wings he comes with, that's going to be hard to put on the shelf. This works better. So, I'm liking that. In order to change the wings out, you have to take off his head. Off with his head, which has been heated. Always heat before you take off a head. And you'll notice, once we get that head off, there's a really nice neck joint there. He kind of has a sloping neck because he's a very muscular and hulking character. But the ball joint that they've chosen for that is beefy and gives him a good range of motion for what it is. So you take off the head, there's a couple of small ports on his back, and that just slides over his shoulders. So having that off, we'll go ahead and look at his articulation real quick. It's everything you'd want. All the articulation in all the spots. It works well. He's got a great muscle definition type of painting job that they've done on him. And there's his ports for his wings. Even his loincloth piece is well detailed. And there's even that big buckle. And I like him. I like him a lot. He definitely has good range of motion in all the places you want him to. The only thing that makes him a little peculiar is the feet. And that's totally accurate for the character. You know, he does have those gargoyle legs, and it makes it a little difficult to find a good balance for him to stand without a stand, but it's not impossible. It can be done. He comes with his stoic face, which is not bad. And then he has his very angry gargoyle face, which is very cool. And I'm digging that. So we'll put that on. And the hair is flexible, so it does give him some movement, but it does limit the head articulation just a bit. That and the wings. So we haven't got to that yet. He also comes with a tail that is super flexy. It's got a wire inside, so you can mold this and bend it to however you want. And yeah, this is going to look a bit naughty, but we're going up the poop chute. He's got a port back here for his long tail. Get in there. Submit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a lot dirtier than I thought it would be. So, you can bend the tail, and that actually helps with balance too. So, once you've got his tail in, curve it around a bit. A little bit of paint flexing off when I bent the tail, but nothing major. The tail actually itself is molded in color, so I'm not sure where that paint came off from. Probably where it ports in. But obviously his loincloth is designed to go around the tail. And once you've got it bent in a position that will help him with standing. Then you can get more dynamic with your posing on his legs and his feet. And, you know, it'll take some tinkering. So I'm very happy with the look of this guy. Again, getting him to stand is a trick. It's going to take some work, but articulation is very good. There we go. I think that's got it. Get that tail there. You can do it. Or not. He's going to be tough to stand because of those feet. But the articulation is good, and he just looks good. He's very dynamic. And the wings that he comes with in his package are a very hard plastic. There's no flex to this at all, which is a good thing, because when you get them ported in, and again, got to take the head off of this. He's got the shoulder connections, and he's got a hinged bit, and it is stiff. We're going to have to hit that with the heat gun again. I'm worried about that breaking. Don't leave home without it. So, oh yeah, there we go. It is not ratcheted, but it's very stiff. Actually, it is ratcheted. I don't want to break that. I'm leery, but it looks like it might be ratcheted, which would help it to hold in place, and that's a good thing. If you've seen some of the Marvel Legends characters that have large wings without any kind of ratcheting, yeah, there's definitely a ratchet there. They don't hold up well. This is going to hold up. Once you've got it in place, it's not going anywhere. But be careful. You could definitely get some breakage there if you're careless. And if he takes a nosedive off the shelf onto a hard surface, you're going to have broken wings. Take these broken wings and learn to fly again. Sorry. Love that song. So, the wings are so cool. They look so good. And because they do have that stiff, I think there is a ratcheted action going on in there. They're not going anywhere. It is a little unwieldy putting the head back on because the wings do kind of go under that hair piece. But if you've got a good flight stand, and I do, and you've got the wings up in angry pose with the angry face, and get some different stuff going on here. Oh yeah, I can see this working out. That is just beautiful, kids. Look at that. The wingspan on this guy is freaking phenomenal. That is huge. So having him flying around on the shelf is going to look awesome. Again, even if you're not a fan of Gargoyles, the cartoon, this guy fits with your Mythic Legions, your Motu, any fantasy stuff. You can definitely find a place for him. So let's get him on the flight stand again, which will be a little easier now. And the flight stand that I've chosen also has a ratcheted action, so you can adjust the height. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, very dynamic. Super duper dynamic. This guy, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. So, 2 thumbs up, which you can't see because they're hidden by the wings. The only other are accessory bits that we get with Goliath. I'll put him over here. Yeah, because he takes up most of the camera. And then get Bronx down here. That's going to be a great display piece. He comes with a book. As we know, he's fond of reading. It's really well detailed. Got some actual script inside, which if you can see around my big mitts, it's pretty cool. A hand for holding said book. He comes with a pepper, which he was fond of eating in the cartoons. Itty bitty pepper. And then 2 outstretched menacing hands, which are very, very cool. Rawr. So those are his accessories. That is Goliath. And that's pretty much the review. These guys are really awesome. They're pretty well priced, and NECA, you can find them in the big box stores, or you can get them like I did from Hella Dope, who has these and other of the gargoyles in stock right now. Link in the description. So get you one, get you two. I don't know if I'm going to collect all of them because I'm not a huge Gargoyles fan, but this guy's a showpiece. The wings, the coloration, his dog companion. These two I'm set. I'm very happy with. I might look at getting some of the other ones, but shelf space is at a premium. So for a line that I'm not totally gaga over, I don't know if I want to go all in, but I'm glad I got these two. And I'm glad that you were able to check them out with me. So, thanks. Have a good one.